Okay, so now we're being recorded, okay? Automatically, I believe. So let me, here is Art. Allow to talk. Okay, so this meeting's being recorded. Welcome, everybody. This is the meeting of the Gloucester Cultural Council. Consistent with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and banning gatherings of more than 25 people, this meeting will be conducted by remote participation to the greatest extent possible. The public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort will be made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time. In the event that a live transmission proves unworkable for any reason, an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of the meeting will be made available on the city's website as soon as possible. So the agenda has been posted for the public, and hopefully each of you have a copy of it. Do we have a quorum yet? Let's see. We have 5. That's a quorum, right? Okay. So hello, everybody. I hope everyone's been well since we last met. So to look over the agenda, is there anything anyone wants to add to the agenda that's not covered under here?
I have something to add, but it can be during the updates.
Okay. Okay, good.
Thank you.
So announcements, Art has news about his progress getting through the process. Art, you want to tell people what happened?
I went up to the website today and looked at what they have for historical.
No, I mean for your application, your interview.
I had a talk with Nicole. It was the second shortest interview I've ever had in my life. I think it went well. She seemed happy. I was there waiting for her instead of her having to wait for me. That seemed to be good. She asked me a number of questions and I did my best to answer in English, not geek speak, and that helped. Now up to whatever the next step of the process is.
Okay, so that's good. That's moving ahead. Does anybody else have any announcements they want to make?
I did have somebody who I thought might be an interesting fit for the group. She's a young local painter. I actually met her through her partner, Ryan, who's the new director of IT at City Hall. And she expressed some interest in it. And, you know, if we come around to our next meeting, maybe she could join in and see what she thinks.
Why not?
Okay. You want to share her name at this point?
Yeah, her name is Katie Brinkman. Because I figure you can't have too many painters, right?
That's great.
That's right.
Lucas, was the last name Brickman or Brinkman?
B-R-I-N-K, Brinkman.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so make sure she gets the public link to come to the meeting. Okay, that'd be great. Thank you. Okay, so we need to review the minutes for March 10 meeting. Did anybody have any corrections or adjustments? No?
Yep, good.
Motion to approve?
Motion.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, motion by Lucas, second by Shayla. All those in favor? Everybody?
Yes.
Okay, Rebecca, Shayla, Lucas, Laura, and me, and Kay, unanimous. Okay, thank you. So we had agreed on to try to have liaisons to each program. This was a suggestion from Kay, and everybody agreed that it's an excellent suggestion. And I sent around to earlier today just a draft of a proposed introductory letter. We can change it or make it your own. You might want to vary it with the nature of the project you're writing to. But as of now, we do not have all of the projects covered. So that is one thing we need to do, fill in those gaps. I'm trying to find the list so I can screen share it.
The letter looked really good. Thank you for doing that, by the way.
Sure, happy to.
Yeah, I would say just whenever we get to a spot on it, that if we could just toss something in about any promo materials that they have that they want to send along that we could share, and any event photos, things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I should have had this ready to screen share. I didn't. Find it. Well, while it's going to take me a minute, I do have it, but I attended the online discussion about artists and housing. Were any of you also there by any chance?
I watched the recording of it.
Oh,
Okay. There wasn't a lot that I didn't know in terms of what's going on, but the impact on our community of having people buy places that they only use a short time, that they're not living here, so that they're not part of the community, that really leapt out at me. I don't know what can be done about it though,
no.
So what were your takeaways, Lucas?
Yeah, I agree. I think that there was, I haven't had as much of a tenure in Gloucester here as everybody else, but there are things that I was aware of. But that was an interesting point to me too. It's like that, yes, they're paying taxes into the economy, but they're not supporting local business. They're not supporting local art. They're or community. There's almost this void that's created when you have a part-time resident. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and it makes housing less available for the people who live here full-time year-round. I immediately started thinking, well, is there a way to tax part-time residents more heavily so at least they could be paying for something, so that into a fund that could be subsidizing housing for artists or something like that. It's probably
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
Because look what's happening at Rocky Neck. It's dwindling.
Yeah, I mean,
Once Ellen, the artist that's in the first gallery, Kroger, left for Bearskin Neck, I was like, well, there it is. She was the last of the Mohicans over there.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Okay, I'm almost with you to share this list.
I have it pulled up if you want me to share my screen.
Okay, well, I just got it. Thanks. There we go. Okay, so these are all our programs, and this is, you can see the ones that we're missing. So if people want to jump in here, the Cape Ann Finns that's the, really, it's a translation and building on the history.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not picky. I think these are all great. I would like, I'll jump on the Cape Ann Fins. I'd like to do something that actually has a, like a physical element to it, so I can actually go see something. That'd be cool.
Uh-huh, okay.
You might like that Jay DePrima one, Lucas, because he's a great performer.
Sold.
This one, okay.
Yeah.
Whose dog that is? I recognize the sound.
It's my dog, Shorty. He's a very good watchdog.
So,
We're missing Laura and Rebecca.
yeah,
Yeah.
Laura.
I was just gonna pipe up.
Okay.
I have a lot on my plate right now, and I don't want to make commitments I can't keep. I'm in the process of trying to navigate and get my mother eligible for Medicaid and then move her. And I don't know how any of that's going to play out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you.
So
I feel you.
I'm like, I support all of these and I would love to go to all of them. And I'm part of 3 manship residencies for the Medusa project that I'm like,
Oh,
which I've been a part of for a while. So I've already got those and I'm just like, I really shouldn't add anything else onto my plate. So I don't know. That's my,
Understood. I get it.
That's good
Okay.
Well,
self-care.
dealing with the
Yep.
mother thing, I totally understand because I'm on that page, but I need the distraction. So I'll
Okay.
sign up.
I've got an Ariel Silks production to
Oh, cool.
produce. So that's going to be enough of a distraction as it
okay.
is.
Because you're going to need it.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Oh,
so go ahead.
I'd like to jump in and work with the Gloucester Museum School if possible, if that's okay with everyone.
I'm just curious.
that
as to what the
Rebecca speaking up?
I wasn't at that meeting, so
Oh,
I guess I'm a little shy as to like, I'm curious, what is the commitment? I'm kind of falling in Laura's category. Like, what is
Uh-huh.
the commitment you guys are looking for? Because this is why I joined Gloucester Cultural Council, because I knew the commitment when I joined, like what the level of commitment was. And if we're upping it, I just kind of wanted to get a better feel for that.
Yeah. I
so
don't-
the
it's-
idea,
yeah.
it's pretty simple. Yeah, go ahead, Lucas.
Oh, I was gonna say it's, I think ideally we would have a little bit more of a connection with the events and programs that are going on. But considering these times, a lot of these things are remote, and so really, I think at least initially, what it is just sending an email out to the contact and saying like, hi, introducing yourself and saying we're Gloucester Cultural Council. This is what we'd like to do. We'd like to be involved, and I mean, really, that's it. I mean, in the future, ideally, we could all attend these events and it would be great.
Exactly. I think it's just, we're a council of 7 or 8 people right now. And so when someone's awarded a grant, who do they reach out to with questions?
Yes.
That kind of thing. Who's their point of contact? So if we divvy it up and by divvying it up, we're each reaching out to this person saying, welcome, I'm your assigned liaison. If you have any questions, I'm happy to help you. I'm looking forward to attending your performance if you can. And the only thing I can say is, because I suggested this, and this is how we did it in Arlington, it doesn't have to be this way. But, towards the end in the reporting cycle, sometimes people need a little prodding. The reports don't come in as they should. So then the only follow-up would be, we'd have a meeting and Liz might say, hey, I never heard from the Manship Artist Residency. And I'll say, oh, that was the program I was liaison to. I'll follow up with them and see where their final report is. Because when we're balancing books, that helps. So that's it. It's just divvying up the point of contact.
So I sent out a draft of the initial email people can use to send out, and I think Lucas had some great suggestions. So it basically would be taking that, addressing it to the leader of your program, and putting your contact information and sending it at this point. And you could say, I hope to attend your program if it is something live. But it's not a commitment, to be there, certainly. Anyway. that's
Okay,
it.
thanks.
So,
Yeah, and I think to Kay's point, it's when we're doing that follow up at the end, if we have made contact sooner rather than like just here's your grant, good luck. If there is contact,
Right.
then it's much easier to complete that whole process.
yeah.
I have I don't know Tom Jones, but I know some of the Musery folks sort of like in my orbit, so I'll take that one too.
Tom Jones.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Rebecca, are there any that you feel like you wouldn't be too overwhelmed by?
Yeah, you can just assign me to something. It's fine.
How about the Theater Guild High School?
Sure.
Okay. Are there any of the blank ones that people feel might need more contact than others?
Did someone do the dance? There was I believe it was an Indian culture dance that was coming to Stage Fort.
Was that Muli Pal?
Wooly Pal, yeah.
I signed up for it, but if you'd like to do that, that's fine, and I'll take something else.
No, that's fine. You can
No, I'll put you
you
there.
can put me on for two things. It's fine.
Okay, I'll put you there, and I will take another thing. Let's see. Junie Van Dyke that's the display at the library, right?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I could do that too if you don't want to.
Shayla?
Yep.
Okay.
And
Does
somebody,
that-
sorry, did somebody take the Gloucester Museum School?
Yeah, that was
Oh,
me.
I'm sorry, who wants that? The museum?
That was me, but,
Oh, okay.
and I didn't know that I had, yeah. And you can put me anywhere. I can fill in gaps at the end, so.
All right. Does somebody else want?
I can do
Shayla,
Courtney.
do you want the
No,
museum?
I'm
school?
okay. I'm okay. I don't mind taking something else at the very end if there's one dangler.
I'll do Courtney Richardson because I actually have to go meet with her. So
Okay, which one is that?
the RNA.
Oh, good.
Okay, so that's going to be Rebecca. It's a little hard for me to tell who's talking.
Yeah.
So
Um,
at this point, who's going to do the museum school?
Okay,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
And this is Lucas. I'll do the Timothy Kane, the drumming.
Timothy Kane drumming.
Last one there.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so we only have 3 left. Let's see.
You can just give us each one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's see. Shayla's got a lot. Let me give Kay.
Yeah, you can put me in for another if you want.
Yeah, is that Kay again?
Yes, that's me. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, and Sean Fullerton, I'll do that one. Okay. Yay. All right.
Yay.
done.
All right. Look at that.
Do apologize for not being saying
That's
no, but I know I don't want someone to fall through the cracks for these people. So
No, that's okay.
We understand.
Yeah.
I know.
Moving an elderly mother is on the rung of Dante's.
Yeah.
7 or 8 down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a doozy.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. And I think it doesn't hit you until it's done sometimes. So.
All right. right, so I'm pulling up the letter just to, so Lucas, you wanted to add language about publicity.
Yeah, maybe just, please send along any promotional materials that you might have. And, any, document of your event that we could share and promote on our social media.
Okay, where should they send the promotional materials?
They could send it to our Gmail address, at Gloucester Cultural Council at Gmail.
Okay. And we will put it on our, we could use our social media, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. And then there was a second point you made.
I don't know if it's appropriate for our follow-up email or this email, but if there are photographs or videos of the
Yeah.
actual event that we could share too.
Oops. All right. Good.
So Elizabeth, I know you can't see me, but I raised my hand.
I'll
On
stop
the
then.
reimbursement, I just really would like to have it done electronically instead of hard copy, if that's possible. And I think we kind of talked about that earlier.
Mhm.
So I don't know if we can, have it edited so it says something,
Yeah.
about scanning and emailing.
Did any of these applications not come in electronically? Were any of them mailed?
They have to be done electronically
Right.
now.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Okay. And I'll put in where to send them to, I'll put in the address. Okay. That's a good point. Yeah, people
you
used to be able to apply with written documents, but now everything has to be done through the website in terms of the application process.
So they'll be emailed, are they going to be emailed to me then as treasurer, or should I set up a separate account? Like, GCC treasurer@gmail.com?
What do people think? Would it be simpler to have one email address for the GCC and then forward things to the appropriate person, or have separate email addresses? I'm inclined to stay with one. But
Me too. And forward. That's,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think right now, Liz, you and I are the ones checking the Gmail address.
mhm.
And I don't have, any objection to sharing that login info with everybody too.
Yeah, that would be a good idea,
I go
actually.
down to, I've been going down to the post office bi-weekly. There hasn't been anything, so, but
Mhm.
just making sure that that's part of my routine.
Good.
Thank you.
We love the post office. Okay, so we'll stick with, for both places, there'll be the one, the one GCC address. My ellipsis in there, so I know to fill that in. Okay. Anything else?
Look good.
All right. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. that. And off we go to the next thing. So the idea of a policy regarding repeat applicants. I asked Kay to come up with some proposed language. And do you want to share what you have, Kay?
I sent it to you. I can dig it out of my outbox. Hold on just a sec. And I should say that, as I'm looking, I should say that in my proposed language, I said that somebody could not submit, I think, more than twice in 10 years' time, but I think that's open to discussion. Here it is. The Gloucester Cultural Council has a policy that applicants will be funded a maximum of 3 times in a 10-year cycle, even if the scope of the project changes / evolves. I have a snoring dog behind me, sorry. This policy is meant to foster a diverse rotation of artists and organizations, as well as encourage grantees to identify alternative funding resources.
So just devil's advocate here, like if we're looking at this year, I guess it would be like Gloucester Stage, Magma, Rocky Neck, Hammond Castle that have submitted like maybe more than 2 or 3 times in 10 years.
Yeah.
Or the Corey dancers.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of feel like there's, you don't want to assume that if you do that you want those programs to keep going. I mean, those ones are all such like hallmarks of Gloucester.
Yeah, I agree with Shayla. I'm not keen on, I don't know. I'm not.
And I don't know how many other diverse voices would come out and have that impact. Maybe there'd be a lot of other artists that would come out of the woodwork and like kind of take over. And then those guys would also be able to find other funding sources. But
Screen share the email so we can look at it. I asked Art if there was a way to go back and look at who's been funded in the past and to add that to the database so we could know how many times who has been funded, just to have some data before we make this kind of a decision. Art, can you go ahead and let us know what that looks like so far? I just asked him this yesterday, so.
I jumped on it today, and it is somewhat of a mess.
Mm.
For the early years, there were no IDs assigned to anyone. And then they went to some odd sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, down to the number of people who applied that year. That went on for some time. There were some occasional oddities, such as one group was assigned 1A, 11A, the next one was assigned B. I don't know what the differences there are, or 28A and 29 had the same kind of problems. So, junk that could be dealt with. Then they went to a 4-digit ID number, and now we have a 5-digit number. But what I'm planning on doing is doing a name sort by year so I can find out if there's any commonality, so that if there's a particular organization that's in there, half a dozen times, sometimes with a 5-digit number, sometimes without, I can make the modifications, but I need permission to do that since it's not my data.
Mm-hmm.
There are a number of small issues like that, and I think once that gets resolved, it's going to be a lot easier, because then you can use either a number or the name of the organization. Right now, I can set it up so that it can be sorted by organization, so you can do a search. I think it'd be a nice to have that if, so you have someone like Windover, show up on as an applicant, that you get a little list of all the other times that particular group has applied and what the dispositions were. but that's gonna take a little while, but it's, the problem I have right now is identifying each individual correctly and consistently.
Hmm.
It's all database kind of stuff, but it's still,
I think the Mass Cultural Council needs you.
yeah,
Because
well,
it really is, it's very frustrating to try to, track things.
you're.
Well, I'm curious. I'm sorry, I raised my hand. I know you can't see
Okay,
it.
I'm gonna stop share, so.
So
I-
I'm curious because when I met with the gentleman, when Jane Ketty took me over and we met with the gentleman who does all the inputting of checks that have paid out, all of that is recorded. He's got a database already going there. So my question would be like, I would rather just go and speak to him and see if he could actually pull up that information. He probably can sort it and do it because he's got it all right there that he's logged in.
Okay. So when I looked back in prior years, sometimes grantees were listed with a person's name. Sometimes it was listed as a project. Sometimes it was listed as an organization. And in successive years, those could all be the same thing, but they were listed differently,
Right.
But
So,
it might be just a nice starting point too.
yeah. Yeah, why don't you do that? I mean, definitely. We don't have to decide this now. I'm just trying to get us started. And I realized that I didn't know how many times we've had repeat awards. And I just thought it would be useful to have some data to look at on that. I mean, the point that there are some things culturally that are valued here and that the council has traditionally supported, and we want to keep doing that, is also, a valid thing to have in our criteria. So we might want to, come up with a policy that says, in awarding grants, we will look, for new applicants. We'll look to support new artists coming in. That will be a piece of what we look for.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I think we like this year we made some really good decisions, and also supported a lot of returning groups, and at the same time didn't force anybody out who was new or coming in. I think we did a very good job of distributing the money that we had.
The previous year, we didn't have enough applicants to distribute the
Right.
money. I mean, so, okay, it's it's been a different world up here from what
Yeah.
you're used to in Arlington. I think if we just adopted this no more than 3 in 10 years thing, would happen to beat the bushes to get applicants based upon recent history.
Right.
Yeah, and again, it was just a suggestion.
Yeah.
I'm learning as I go along about the culture up here, so
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm not married to it. It's fine, whatever we decide.
I
Yeah.
think it's important. Now my dog starts to bark. I think he hears my voice. I think it's important that that we keep an eye on, the people, the repeat. Like there's a legacy there, but there's also like, you don't want to look like there's favoritism, right? So that's like it's an interesting balance. And maybe it's like, there's a lot of the big guns that have been around, been giving the money for however many years, and they keep applying because they keep getting money, because why wouldn't you? That allotment changes. And it's just something that, is there a policy that basically is essentially what we do, is that we're going to weigh everything. If we had 3 applicants in, like 2015, and now we have 40 and we have the same amount of money, there you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think with the new, social media stuff and really getting current, you're probably going to find that we have more applicants, and then we're going to have to, figure that out and have something. But I do think saying like, 3 years and you're cut off, or 5 years, that's going to get problematic. So that's my 2 cents.
So something to keep in mind about that is that you might have an organization applying, say, 5 years in a row, but they're only granted once or twice during that period.
Mhm.
Block them from the next time because they might have a real great idea to do so.
Yeah. Just not to get too linear, especially when it comes to creatives. It's really those
Yeah.
two things tend to not go together very well.
But this way, if you have an available history of the applicant and what the deposition was, so you know we granted, we didn't grant, that makes it a lot easier to make a decision. And I think you could then say, we're not being favorites. They've applied this many times. We only granted this little amount of times,
Mhm.
few amount, without having, get this set into some kind of concrete.
Yeah. Okay, so sounds like a plan to continue work on this question. And Rebecca, maybe you can get in touch with Art after you get to the numbers guy. And
Yeah, I'll reach out to Amit and just see. I mean, he might say, oh, I don't have any of that information. But I think where he's been writing, the checks and everything for so many years, and I was in there and I saw the setup, I was like, well, wait a second, all of that information is already in the city data banks. So why not just, it's worth investigation. It's either going to be a yes or a no, so.
so that would tell us who has been awarded money and how much. It would not tell us who requested money and didn't get it in the past.
That is true. That is true.
So
But
it's
you
part
were
of it. It's a
here,
big chunk, yeah.
the question was, what I was understanding was the repeats. So, if Corey dancers have gotten, funding for the last 12 years, then it should state that,
Right.
or we should, reflect that.
Okay, anything else on this topic, or are we ready to move on to updates on 2021 programs?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Okay.
it's an ongoing discussion, but yes, we're good.
Yep, we just need to have it all figured out by September.
You do it.
So, okay. So the found art display, and which hopefully will lead to a grantee reception. Shayla, you want to let us
Sure.
know? You,
So Susan Aroney had told me that she had been under there already and had sort of a glimpse of what's there and recalled seeing some murals rolled up. So that got me really excited, but I don't want to get ahead of my skis. So I'm thinking the timeline is at the end of May, because I'll be fully vaccinated, and hopefully all of us that want to participate in this will be fully vaccinated by then. And we could go in there with Susan and just kind of categorize what we find so that we know like what's appropriate to show in the community. But I just have a hope that there's some stuff that we could find in there and do some kind of like collaborative, interactive workshop with, like, say, for example, O'Malley Middle School. Like, they already have some of these great WPA murals in their like atrium area. And I was like, wow, what if we could like put some art in there and kind of do kind of like an art class in collaboration with their art teachers, because my master's thesis dealt with the importance of art in kids and community after a tragedy like a gun violence situation or a natural disaster. And I'm like, our kids are going to be coming back to school in September. And, if we could, the Cultural Council could kind of provide a holistic art experience for them in collaboration and kind of using some of the art that we find so they feel connected to their community. So, I mean, I might be getting way ahead of my skis on that one, but, at the end of May, we'll get a group in there, we'll look at this stuff and we'll see like what's appropriate that the museum might want to look at, what's appropriate for us to hang in the community and where, and then what might be appropriate to collaborate with the public schools on. And I can totally write up curriculum for that and everything. I would love to do that. So that's kind of where we're at. And did I forget something? Yeah. So end of May, we'll go in and have the first look. How about we say that for those that want to do it? And hopefully a lot of good programming, and we can show this art in the community. I think it could be very exciting.
Okay, and do you have a city hall contact to get access and schedule that?
I do not.
Oh, it was Chris, right? And I'm forgetting his last name, but it'll be easy enough to track down.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, and I'll get in touch with Chris and like I said, like the end of May, like, because we want everyone to be safe.
I love that idea about the art in schools. I think that's great.
Yeah, me too. And they're gonna need it. The kids are gonna need it. Coming back, it's gonna be a weird time. We're all a little socially feral, but can you imagine if you were a
Yeah.
teenager?
I have one.
Go.
yeah.
Anyway, so I will reach out to Chris and we'll try to set that up for the end of May. And I'll
Okay.
reach out to Susan as well to see what good dates for her, and we'll
Right.
take it from there.
It might be interesting to cross-pollinate the found art stuff eventually, not like right now with this while it's being sorted, but to kind of cross-pollinate with the Gloucester 300, because especially with the WPA 400, I don't know,
Yeah, the
math,
400. Yeah.
I don't know. What year is it? I lost a year. But especially the WPA stuff, and like you
Yeah.
look at the Babson boulders, and just like that is such a huge cultural thing here. That would be a neat sort of thing to
Yeah.
I mean,
content. It's just more content for the Gloucester 400, for
Right.
the cultural, for our history, all those things.
but if you have a teenager, do they go to O'Malley?
No. She goes to Waring and Beverly, and she's about to graduate. So
Oh, okay. Well, the atrium, these beautiful
Yeah.
WPA murals, and they have this sort of like, place for the kids to hang out in the middle. And it would be, if we could just kind of celebrate that.
yeah,
It's
for
just
sure.
as beautiful as the one in City Hall. There's two of
Yeah.
them. I mean,
Yeah.
they might need a little love, but maybe we could help, spotlight them for the community. Anyways, we'll see what we find under there and what it ignites, because it's going to be pretty interesting, I think.
Curious, very
Yeah,
curious.
it's really
And
cool.
she said that when Susan was like, I recall there were some murals rolled up. I was like, wow.
And as an aside too, I just like to say, I wish we had a better established relationship with the Gloucester 400 folks and knew sort of, how we could support them and vice
Right.
versa.
Right.
I'll reach out to them. I think I had a contact with them way back, but like so many things, it disappeared in the ether last year. So I'll reach out and see. Actually, I think Judith Hoaglander might be on the committee to deal with art stuff. She usually is. And I know Judith really well, so I will let you know about that. The other thing that we had talked about was possibly displaying some of this art at a grantee reception.
Oh.
And we, I think the mayor suggested doing the grantee reception at CMGI. We should probably look at dates soon about that. Got this weird light thing happening because the sun is starting to set over Ipswich Bay, Lanesville's famous sunsets. It's like,
Yes.
wreck my visual here. That's why I turned the camera a bit. But anyway, so
Well,
we'll need to get a gate for that. Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking that's why the first thing we're going to have to kind of do is categorize what we find, like what would be appropriate for that, what would be appropriate for this, and then follow up about, then we have to hang the show and articulate the show, and could be, late summer and the fall by the time we could actually, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we were talking to the end of
about
summer.
fall.
Yeah.
Oh, fall.
Okay. Fall for the grantee reception.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think that could totally happen by the fall. Yeah.
Which is probably when I'll be doing this Aerial Silks thing in Boston.
Perfect.
Because why not have more things happen?
Everything's going to happen in September.
Always, right?
Everybody's going to be let out of the box by then.
Yeah. Well, I think the summer's going to be pretty busy as well.
I do too.
actually.
So Shayla, are you looking for someone to join you in this feat or?
Well, yeah, we have yeah, anybody's welcome, I think, because I think we're gonna need bodies to kind of, pull it out and
I mean, I'm
open
down.
it and categorize it. It's gonna be very physical in the first part of this. So,
Well, let us know the date,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm sure we'll meet again before the final date too, and we can decide who wants to come and
Mhm.
help.
I might volunteer my teenager since she's going to be going to mass art.
Oh,
She would love
Yeah.
it. I bet.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
I mean, it's treasure hunting. Why not?
Hey.
She
just
can do the
maybe-
crawling under the stage part.
Well, I was just thinking, my niece is going to be home from the Chicago Art Institute. Maybe I'll send her under that stage too.
There you go, right?
The little artist, let the little artist do it up.
Yeah. Okay, good, good. All right, so I'm going to make inquiries about using GMGI
Okay,
space, find out what the deal is, how do we need to book it and that, because I just, we're not going to be able to pull this off at the last minute with a crowded calendar of activities. So kind of need to put our marker down. We
yeah,
can always cancel it if we have, if it's not going to come about. But holding a reception for grantees is one of the things we're supposed to do, and we've allocated money for it. So
Did
okay.
have you also looked, it's kind of cool, the Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce. I don't know if you guys are aware, they have a meeting room
Hmm.
that is available to the public. And so I have a show up there right now.
oh,
It's kind
wow,
of, yeah, it's kind of cute. They just asked for a few things. His name is Vince and he is running the, so I went on a tour of the building. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you walk in and they have this beautiful conference room, absolutely gorgeous, that anybody can use. He's like, I wish people would come and utilize this space.
wow.
So just food for thought,
How many people, do you have any idea how many people could be accommodated?
like 20. I mean, it's not like for a huge,
Oh,
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it's just something to consider
okay.
at some point,
Mhm.
it's just something to think about.
But not for this reception, because we're hoping we'd have more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's something you can talk about. I mean, I can't see 100 people in there, but
Mhm. Okay. All right. I'll work on those. So I'm going to work on reaching out to the 400th and a location for the grantee reception in the fall. Cape Ann Museum is another.
I think
yeah.
I think a bigger venue is better just for this year because people aren't going to want to be close together yet. They're still
Well,
going to be
that's
pretty
what-
squirrely.
well, that's what I was thinking is like, you have that office, but right there is the Henry Fitz Lane Park.
Right.
Mhm.
So you have the outdoor space. So I guess that's what I was thinking, because I know that I'm a little gun shy about going indoors.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
and I know with US figure skating, we've postponed all national events really until like September, October. So, and those are, the arenas are huge. Anyway, so my thought was, if you can use the conference room, but then you also have the outdoor space right there. There's a nice flow.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah, and there is the new Cape Ann Museum campus, which I don't think I've never seen it, but I know it's indoor,
oh,
outdoor,
yeah, yeah,
and huge.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's right. Good call.
Yeah. So they have a couple of spaces that would work for us.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will work on that. Okay, then the next thing is the ice sculpture idea. So Rebecca, you are up. on this one.
So, I kind of had bad news, unfortunately.
Oh,
I did speak with the office manager at Cape Pond Ice. They don't really do that anymore. As a matter of fact, they're gutting their building and getting rid of everything. They just supply ice to the fishermen. She was very interesting. She is on the Beverly Cultural Council, so we had a interesting dialogue. That brought up, which this is kind of going off on a tangent. I don't think it applies to us, but her and I got into a discussion about brainstorming a concept. For example, there's so much history there. And I don't know if anybody knows the artist Kara Walker. Kara Walker had they did a huge exhibit in the Domino Factory. That was, and she
It was
built,
Sugar Baby.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
So her and I started kind of like just talking and brainstorming and saying, okay, if you're gutting this space and getting rid of everything, maybe it's not ice sculptures we do because you don't provide the ice. Maybe there's something else. And she had said there's a woman at the senior center. She's an artist. She's been talking to Scott for the last couple of years, or like last 2 years, about doing some sort of sculpture in Stage Fort Park with regards to recognizing Cape Cod ice and its history. So I don't know who that person is, but before we continued on, I said, well, let me bring this information to the council and see kind of what their thoughts are.
Well, I don't know if everybody saw the program for that new arts festival that I found and sent around, but there were these installations and performance art, dance pieces at Cape Cod Ice on varying levels of Cape Cod Ice, and this was 2005, maybe something like that, and it just sounded amazing because I've never been there, but I could imagine that space is incredible.
But they're gutting it, right?
She said the tours, they used to do tours, and obviously with COVID, the tours have stopped. Mostly it's their merchandise. I had gone there once because they actually had an art show there. There was a couple artists they let show, but it is a space, and she's really open to discussion, and she's open to thinking about how they can recognize Cape Cod, and we just can't, she's not going to be able to give us ice sculptures, chunks of ice for that. So I think it's just something that we can kind of mull over and consider for the future.
Well, maybe we could do our grantee reception there.
That's what I was thinking. It might be good to consider that as a space.
Might be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different. I haven't heard of anything being done there in a long time.
That could be really cool.
It's certainly cultural.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's not, it's a cultural thing that's not a theater or a museum or, you know what I mean? It's like Gloucester culture. Like that is a historical place.
It's the link between fishing and art. I mean, it's really kind of perfect.
Yeah. So do you want me to reach out to her tomorrow? And
sure.
Yeah. She was great. We had like I said, we spoke for about 45 minutes. It was great.
Nice.
So.
Wow, that's great. Yeah.
All right, let me do that, and I'll send out an email when I find out some information from her.
Totally off topic, but Rebecca, you look like you're in an Edward Hopper painting.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, it's totally distracting me. Like, I'm like, I just want to get my sketchbook right now.
I know. Well, you know what? I feel like I'm not a big cat person, but I do feel like a cat right now. I know why a cat would curl up in a window with the sun and just hang out. Like, I'm totally feeling it.
You're very well lit.
Yes, the shadows and everything.
Can you see the ocean from the windows? Yeah, I was like, can you show us what the view is?
Yeah.
I kind of think I know where you are.
Thank you for sharing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, good. All right. So now, does the fact that Cape Cod Ice couldn't be a provider of blocks of ice mean that we're going to drop this, or do you think it's worth looking at other sources? I mean, there are ice carvings.
No, I mean, I just started there.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to keep it local. So that's not to say that you can't order blocks of ice and have it done. I really wish, I think it would be so much fun, and I'd love to investigate the cost, but I think it's an insurance. It probably has to do with insurances. Really love to see an outdoor arena. Like, it's so easy to do. The guy in Reading at Burbank Arena does it. I've seen it done up in North Conway. It's just so easy, and you only need it for like a week or two. But in the same hand, I understand it's probably it probably has a lot to do with insurance as well.
So who was it that discouraged you from the idea of putting in a temporary ring?
It was someone when I went at the town, when I went through my interview process. I forget at which point we were talking about different ideas. And they did have a valid point. They're like, there's plenty of ponds around here to skate on. So
Yeah, but I mean, if they can get away with like all the nonsense they get away with during Fiesta in that lot, like why can't you put a little ice skating rink in there?
And have you seen the nice little rink that's in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, right by Strawberry
I
Bank?
know who built that. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So-
you know, the other thing too is I think COVID makes it a more compelling argument that people in the wintertime are going to be seeking outdoor activities
Yep.
as opposed to indoor.
I mean, we could even, it'd be so fun. You could even host like just for fun. They have a mock way of doing curling,
Ha.
you know, like, or so maybe maybe there's some sort of connection you can come up with. I don't know if there was curling here, but I don't know. There's something that it's kind of things I wanted to just present the information that I had found out and then see where you guys wanted to go with it.
I
still
think we should not drop it. The fact that
Yeah.
somebody in the interview process had a negative reaction is not a reason to drop it. I was walking with friends the Eastern Point Loop and stopped to actually take pictures of people kids playing hockey and skating there. I grew up next to a pond, so it was like, oh,
Yeah.
I get that, but having it at I4C2
Yeah.
is very, very different than Niles Pond.
Yep.
I mean, it would be a
safer.
winter fest. Yeah,
I'd rather skate on a rink. I don't have to worry about,
falling through.
Falling
Yeah,
through.
Yeah.
Well, and you could also, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but couldn't you have like someone that's actually renting skates to people that maybe don't have skates? Or there's a program for kids that don't have skates, don't have money to get skates, could have skates to learn to skate. There's a lot of things that can happen for the community downtown.
You could
The
have
only-
rotating music or movement performances that are synchronized with it.
Mhm.
And we have
trucks.
Food trucks.
yeah, you have the Cape Ann skating club or whatever it is. There's a
Mhm.
skating program around here, but you do have to be careful because of with the rentals, and especially like even though COVID is, we're hoping it's gone, it's not going to be gone. Like that's
Right.
still a sanitation thing. So,
Yep.
And it's the maintenance of the ice. I think it would be short term. So you'd have to, I think that was the other thing with the town is like, well, who's going to maintain the ice? Who's going to keep it clean? I know when we would go up to North Conway year after year after year, they would literally have it the day before Christmas, they would put it in. And then like the 2nd of January, they would take it out.
Yeah.
So the fire department would just flood it. And then, maybe do another reflood and then it would be down. So that was like kind of the thought because, of the maintenance of things.
Right. I would say to do it like in the end of January, February, when there's nothing else to
Exactly. Not the holidays.
do.
Yeah.
Nothing to do.
Yep.
So
Maybe for Valentine's Day.
That would be nice.
yeah, skate with your sweetheart.
Sweethearts hand
Yeah.
in hand skating around. Oh, it's so cute. So maybe Rebecca, if you could try to put together a budget, like how much would it cost to get one of these things set up? What's the liability policy? I'm sure there would be a liability policy that would have to be purchased to cover it, right? And what are the options for maintaining the quality of the ice for like a 10-day period, like 2 weekends plus the week? And see, the order of magnitude for it.
Yeah, I can work on that. Yeah. I think that has some merit. And I will also investigate when I speak to the person at Cape Pond. Well, also she could recommend people that can get us huge blocks of ice also.
Mhm.
So, and we can also have, so then we have 2 options to kind of,
Right,
2 things in the forefront. So.
that'd be good. Okay. I don't know. I think we can pull it off. I do. And I think it'd be a wonderful contribution to the community.
Absolutely.
Just because I'm taking minutes, Rebecca, if you were going to talk to the manager, did we also want Rebecca to ask about hosting the grantee reception there?
Yes,
Yeah,
at Cape Mondice. Yeah.
that's a great idea.
Actually, I like that better than all the other ideas.
Me too. Yeah.
Because it ties in all of Gloucester. It's,
Will you give me like a number so that I can give her a number?
well, if you,
Of
we
people.
look at our let's see. We have like 20 or so grantees. If each had 2 people plus us, plus hopefully assorted members of the public, I don't know.
125, is that too high?
125? I think it'd be great if we could get 125.
Yeah, like
I like
max
to aim high,
125.
why not?
Huh?
Aim high, why not?
Yeah. So go with that. If we
Okay.
have to limit capacity, then it's you know, make your reservation capacity is limited.
Right. And there are different levels and rooms and things. And the only negative thing that I heard from somebody who performed there was he said, "Oh, it's really cold." And I said, "Well, I mean, they make ice, so it's going to be cold."
But you guys are thinking of doing this in end of September, beginning of October, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, there might be a capacity that they actually have, and then I'll ask her about warmth.
Yeah. Oh, then we could just let people know, you know,
Yeah, bundle
hey,
up.
get your winter clothes out early.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, have you ever been to the ice bar that used to exist in Boston? That was really fun. And yeah, you would go in, it was like, 19, 20 degrees, and then you just, yeah, it was pretty cool.
no pun
Literally,
intended.
no pun
Yeah, it's cool.
intended.
Hot
It's a
toddy.
really interesting thing to do.
Yeah, hot toddy, so good. Okay, any other ideas or things to talk about on these topics?
Good.
Okay, we'll move on back to you, Art. We already kind of got some information from you, but you have other things to share?
I'm just doing some prototyping to make sure that what I want to do is doable. And as soon as I have something good to show you, I'll be more than happy to.
Okay.
I really think I should spend a little time trying to deal with the historical information,
Mm.
try to get that into some kind of coherent form, because if I can show you that, I think it's going to make it easier for you to say, okay, that's good. Here's what we really need.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we can't hear you now if you're still talking.
Oh, sorry. My guesses are okay, I think, but I need to know from you what you really need, not what I think you need.
Okay.
And so when I can have this to show you, that's going to make it easier.
All right. Great. Okay, set next meeting dates and likely agenda items. So we agreed to meet in May. May 12th, the second Wednesday. Do you want to stay with the second Wednesday and just plan on monthly meetings on the second Wednesday?
Works for me. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'll let the city know that, and they can just, reserve the Zoom space for us. So in terms of the next meeting, okay, hopefully everyone will reach out to their program that they're liaising with between now and then. And if we get any feedback, we can review that.
Elizabeth, can you send out the allocations for who's taking which programs?
Yes,
To everybody? Thank you.
absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. And do you have any news for us, Lucas, on social media? Anything that you want to?
Yeah, I mean, we're sort of, I'm posting updates on, I did a big update on all of the grant allocations, I guess about 2 weeks ago. And every 3 or 4 days, like just posting something local and relative. But we've got about 500 followers on Instagram, a bunch on Facebook and Twitter, and it's it's great. Like people just really seem to enjoy it. It's nice. And
Good.
just having that outreach is wonderful.
Good, thank you.
Is our Facebook page Gloucester Cultural Council?
It is, yes. So it's weird. So somebody before my time had done a Facebook group, which is different than a page for
Right.
Gloucester Cultural Council. So that still exists, but it's been dormant for a long time. But we're Gloucester Cultural Council on Facebook.
Okay, cool.
And I just post lots of weird art stuff, so it's fun.
Nice.
Okay.
I had a quick update too. I'm working, as you guys may know, at Action Inc. as a guidance counselor with the Compass Youth. So those are
Oh, I
students.
didn't know that. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, so those
Oh.
are students who've left high school and are going on to get their high set and move on to college or whatever. But I've had the opportunity to collaborate in a meeting of other people involved with Gloucester Youth about a proposed rainbow crosswalk for Pride Day in June, or Pride Week in June. And the new education director of the Cape Ann Museum also attended. And she brought up a proposal, open grant proposal, or call for grant from the Bloomberg Foundation for an asphalt mural. I guess it's something they fund annually. So now this group, Cape Ann Museum Action, some of the Cape Ann youth were collaborating to write this grant proposal. And I didn't know what the policy was of the Cultural Council, but I wonder in cases like this, will the Cultural Council do a collective letter of support or something, so the foundation sees that we're backed not only by all these individual social services agencies, but also a arts agency in the community.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I think we can. I don't think there's any prohibition in any of the policies.
Okay, so thank you. I'll keep you posted on what develops. I think it's going to be a pretty
Sounds
quick
great.
turnaround.
That's awesome. That
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
so great.
Kay,
And it would
do
be
you
a
know,
community, I'm sorry.
oh, sorry. Do you know where it was going to be, or is it just proposed?
We had, well, that somebody was going to talk to the city and figure out if there was a place that it would be okay. We were suggesting maybe the parking lot outside of the Cape Ann Museum, sort of in the center of town, doing a mural there, in addition to the rainbow crosswalks and other crosswalks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're still kind of working it through, but the grant is specific to a mural on the ground on asphalt.
That's awesome. I'm going to send you
Yeah.
a separate email about that. That's really
Hey, Kay.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay, it's Laura. Do you
Hi, Laura.
know about NAGLY?
yes.
Which is the North Shore Alliance? Is that
So NAGLY is a part of the conversation.
Excellent.
The Gloucester Prevention Organization through the Board of Health is part of it. So yeah, it's a big,
and then the Health Project too?
yep.
Yep.
And Unity was a part of it.
Okay,
So it was
Very
a big
cool.
collaboration. It was exciting.
that's really great.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have my little friend here.
I miss mine. Anyway, okay, so that's good. Keep us apprised of that. And if you want to draft a letter for us, what's the timeline for
I think
this?
it's moving pretty quickly. So I'll let you guys know, and I'd be glad to draft a letter if that is indeed something that they would like us to provide.
Do you think they'll need it before our next meeting?
They might. I think it was a pretty quick deadline.
Okay. Well, maybe we should take a vote to approve sending a letter of support for this project. So then it's just a matter of getting the letter out. We don't have to reconvene.
That's a good idea.
Is there a motion to approve sending a letter of support?
Motion to
Approved.
approve a letter of support.
Second.
Okay,
Third,
second by Lucas, all in favor?
all in favor.
Rebecca?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm seeing Rebecca, Shayla, Kay, Laura, Lucas, and me. Okay, that's
Thank
great.
you. Thank you so
So,
much for your
if you-
support and
If
for
you want to draft
listening.
something and send it to me, I'll sign it.
Thank you very much.
Sure. That would be good. All right. So to review next steps and assignments, okay. So Rebecca is going to get with Amit on where the money has gone to in the past and communicate with Art about that. And Art is going to continue to struggle with the way the data is sorted for our history. Let's see, Lucas is going to invite Katie Brinkman to the next meeting and
Yes.
we'll give her time to introduce herself and talk with her about what being on the council would mean. I'm going to send everybody the list of who's liaison to what program and the revised letter, and if anybody wants to change it, make it your own, feel free. Let's see. So Shayla is going to let us know when at the end of May we can get together to uncover the found art, and she's going to contact Chris at City Hall about scheduling that.
Also, Shayla, I found it's Chris Sikuranza, but I'll send you his email. I have
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't want to attempt to spell the last name.
Good luck.
yeah. One of those tricky ones.
Yep.
Okay, then I'm going to reach out to the people at the 400th and talk to them about this new art and how we can coordinate with them. And Rebecca is going to talk to Cape Pond Ice about other sources for blocks of ice and also whether we could have the awardee reception at that location. And maybe I'll wait to hear back from you about that and then contact the other 3 places that I said I'd.
Yeah, I'll,
Okay.
tomorrow's a little crazy. I'll
Mhm.
probably reach out to her on Friday.
Okay. That would be great. And like we just said, Kay will draft a letter for me, a letter of support for me to sign and send. I think that's pretty much it, right? We have lots to do. We're rolling, yay.
Yay.
We do. Just briefly, does everybody want the Gloucester Cultural Council Gmail login? I can set it up so everybody has a folder for their stuff, and you just like don't delete something that's communal or for somebody else, and we can all use it.
I think I know this is just me. I had that situation with another organization
Mhm.
and it got a little convoluted. It's got, people don't always pay attention to what they're deleting or
Right,
moving
right.
around sometimes. So for me as a treasurer, if you want to just forward the stuff to me, I'm
Great.
perfectly happy with that solution.
Great. Okay. Yeah. You got it. Anybody else?
I think I agree with that.
Okay.
Too
Perfect.
many hands in one Gmail account can be.
Done and done.
messy. I brought up with, after that meeting to train board chairs and commission chairs on the open meeting laws and other requirements. I sent an email to the city attorney. He invited anybody to ask questions, so I did. And my question was, okay, so all of our communications using our private email accounts are public records under the public records laws, and we are supposed to keep them, and they're discoverable should anybody ask for them. So how is the city going to go about maintaining them? I mean, after I leave this position, where do I put my emails? I mean, is there a deposit? Does the city have a depository for these things, right? I mean, I maybe Amanda cleaned her hard drive. I don't know what she did with her stuff or prior members. And he said, oh, good question. I'll talk to our techies. And I never heard anything back. And so I wrote him again and said, I haven't heard anything, trying to get an answer before we met. Before we started this meeting, Jill and I were talking about this issue, and she said, yeah, it's a big issue. And they don't have a solution to it yet. You can imagine storing all the recordings of all these virtual meetings that have been taking place, then storing all the, all the emails for everybody. I mean, she complimented us once again, like we're way ahead of everybody else in terms of knowing how to use technology. Not everybody else, but most other groups. But still, that's a concern anyway. She's gonna follow up again and try to get an answer, but we don't have the answer yet. It's obviously something that every municipality has got to be dealing with. I mean, everybody has volunteer boards of all kinds that are functioning the way we are, just kind of getting through it. And yeah, it seems like they're going to have like a really big place, large capacity storage someplace that we can just put it. Yeah, that's all I know about that.
I mean, it's an incredible amount of data.
Right.
It's huge. Yeah.
Well, luckily, we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, not our problem. No, not our problem. So just, don't delete things
Yeah.
in the meantime. And we'll be good. So, right. Yeah, one of the issues that came up on requiring police officers to wear body cameras all the time is storage capacity to store all that video. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. And
Yeah.
how long do you keep it? And where do you keep it? And how do you make sure it doesn't degrade? And I mean, it's not a simple question right there. So, anything else? All right.
Good.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Cheryl. Second, Lucas. All in favor? See everybody's hand. Everybody's in favor.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Guys,
Okay.
Thank you all.
stay safe.
All right. Hopefully by next meeting, you'll be able to vote on whether or not we adjourn the meeting.
Well, if not, have a great day.
Okay.
All right, Art.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.